Meanwhile, on the Escape Factory forums, every topic has been moved, then locked. Welcome to Fntastic HQ's idea of transparency and honesty. You have been banned from Escape Factory Hub until 31st October. At that time, you were banned by a Escape Factory developer. Everything has just been removed. Hello everyone and welcome back to the 91st episode of PandTha Talks.
Hello.
This time, streamed live.
Hey.
Yeah, so we're not just
We said we're going to do it, and we finally did it. First time for everything, right, Rory?
Yeah, we finally kept to something that we said.
Yeah, we finally followed through.
And as I did predict last week, I am slightly hungover, so everything came to pass just as I had said. I feel kind of, I don't know whether to be proud or disappointed in myself.
Well, as I mentioned to Rory before we start, hopefully this will mean he'll be less aggressive towards certain topics in particular.
Best of luck.
Yeah, I'm not hopeful, you know.
Oh, great. So our community manager just let me know that everything's working fine. So the stream's working, the recording's working, all's good. We should be good to go.
So what you're telling me is theoretically nothing should go wrong.
Theoretically. But we both know I once had a week where for some reason when I switched scene, it just broke.
Well, we've had a couple of episodes that we've had to redo.
Yeah, but some of those were for audio reasons and Rory being a moron.
Yeah.
But these are very different reasons, it's fine. So, I'm going to move over now, and we can start on our conversation topics, I think. Things are a bit different to the other weeks of the podcast, because obviously we're streaming as well now, so it's a bit more all over. But just a general gist on what's going on. We have some news to do with Firewalk Studios about Concord. We have some news to do with Stalker 2, some to do with State of Decay 3, what games are coming in Xbox Game Pass in November, and finally Dragon Age Veilguard. As well as that, me and Will have said we may discuss something to do with bots on Steam as of late, because it's
nothing special, to be honest. It's just default. You get them everywhere.
Oh yeah, you can't avoid them. And every single one of them seems to have an OnlyFans, so... Moving on. So, we'll move into the first topic, we'll take it slow from there, and we'll build up as we go. I'm sure me and Will get into the swing of things relatively quickly. So...
Shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've never been too bad with this sort of stuff, have we? To my knowledge. I don't recall. Firewalk is signing off for one last time. Do you remember these amazing developers who ended up costing Sony a mild fortune?
Oh, yes. How much was that number again? Can we get a reminder?
200 million was the number from Sony. There was another 200 million apparently before Sony even added money into this. So a total of 400 to, I think it was said to 400, 500 million was spent on this game in development.
Which is just mind-boggling.
Yeah. Firewalk began with the idea of bringing the joy of multiplayer to a larger audience. Along the way, we assembled an incredible team who were able to navigate growing a new startup into a team during a global pandemic. Firewalk was founded in 2018 and was very small for its first couple of years, only entering full production in 2022. That's interesting. So 2018 to 2020, no pandemic. 2021 to 2022, there was a pandemic. And then the back end of 2022, everything smoothed off.
Yeah, everything started getting back to the way it was meant to be.
Yeah, so if you entered full production in 2022, it's going to be like, generally when they say that, it's about mid-year. It's never early in the year. So,
yeah,
where was the global pandemic issue part? I don't... Yeah, I don't see that, really.
You pretty much started just before it.
Yeah, you started before it, then went into it very briefly on the small part, and then went into full production just in the back end of it. So, I don't know. That seems like you should have had more than enough time to adapt on that one. But there you go.
At the very least, the team would have been able to get like familiar with each other and how they all work and each person's
100%.
role.
Build a new customized next generation FPS engine in Unreal 4 to 5. Moving to 5, apparently. So you didn't build a new one whatsoever. You used Unreal and then customized it. I love it. I absolutely love this. How many fibs do you think we can catch them out? Delivering top tier gameplay. That's one.
Yeah, that was very top tier. Jumping off the map every 5 seconds.
Beautiful worlds. Actually, the worlds did look reasonable. I have to give them that. A performance 60 FPS technical experience on a stable and scalable backend on PS5 and PC to hundreds of thousands of players in our beta. Right. It doesn't matter how horrific you guys create a game, like stability-wise, PC games will find a way to run it at a minimum of 60 FPS.
Absolutely. It's like borderline, you will not play anything under that.
Yeah. We'll find a way to make it that, even if you don't give us the options to.
Yeah.
Manage an acquisition / integration while readying technical and preliminary tests. Who are you acquiring? I don't recall any information on this. And ultimately, ship and deliver a great FPS experience to players. Bullshit.
It was certainly first person. I'm not sure if there was much shooting going on.
Yeah, yeah. You see, it was the word "great" that really, set this as bullshit. You can fib as much as you want, but you're not helping anyone by doing so.
Yeah.
Even if it landed much more narrowly than hoped against a heavily consolidated market, do market experience first. Like, the first thing you check is what's in the bloody market. What you're going up against. Is the market too heavily saturated? You know, all these things are useful.
I think that's why they tried to make another live service game.
Oh, that wouldn't shock me.
Because that's pretty much the only thing in the market that's doing well.
Yeah, genuinely wouldn't surprise me. We took some risks along the way. See, I think the big risk that you took that really just destroyed you off the bat was, as we just discussed, going into this specific market. It was that thing, if it had gone away from hero shooters, I think they'd have been okay. If it had just made, even if it had made a fucking Battle Royale game, they'd have probably made their money back. Just to be brutally honest. Marrying aspects of card battlers and fighting games with first-person shoot. Who would want to play that? That sounds awful. That really does just sound horrific. And although some of these and other aspects of the IP didn't land as we hoped, the idea of putting new things into the world is critical to pushing the medium forward. That's true, but spending 400 million on a single new idea doesn't go down too well. At all, actually. The talent at Firewalk and the level of individual craft is truly world class. No, it's not. And teams within Sony Interactive Entertainment and across the industry will be fortunate to work with them. I feel sympathetic to anyone in Sony. Please reach out to recruiting...
Do you though, Rory?
No, not in the slightest. I don't like them either. But in all fairness, I'd feel more sympathetic towards them if they had to work with people like that, who think that that was a good idea. So don't get me wrong, some of the staff did state clearly there was some really bad managerial decisions and too much what did they call it now? It was like toxic positivity. Like, this game's going to be amazing, even though people were pointing out glaring issues. So some of them seem like they had their head screwed on. Sorry, I cut you off there.
Oh, you're alright.
Please reach out to recruiting at PlayStation for inquiries, and thank you to all the very many teams, partners, and fans who supported us along the way. See you in Tempest. I hope something was learned from this. Sean Berry. Hundreds of thousands of players in our beta. I love this. You know, just watching this stuff. This is your legacy. If you get shut down after hundreds of millions of dollars and being awarded every privilege in the gaming industry that the gaming industry can give, including Sony bullying other studios to tweet about you, you didn't achieve anything but irreparable failure. Thanks for wasting everyone's time. I hope it was worth it. I mean, fair play. But yeah, the overall thing is, Firewalk is gone. Concord is no more. Permanently. Yep. We're never going to see
either, as we covered. It was just destined to crash and burn.
Oh yeah. I'm still a bit off about, do you remember a couple of weeks ago we covered that there was an update to the files on Steam?
Mm-hmm.
I still find that a bit odd. But the moment they said, until further notice, and then we got more information about like how much money they spent and everything else, we both said, yeah, they're not coming back. Not a chance in hell. It was way too fucking obvious. And then all you've got to do is just click that one, and you see the difference. This one's still going. Anyways. We try not to talk about that too much. So, I have to go to my Twitter account. I'm still calling it Twitter. I don't give a fuck what you call X or anything else. Fuck that. But I have to come here because I've been posting a lot. Well, retweeting a lot. And as Will knows, and it is very well documented, I am a very large fan of the Stalker series.
That he is.
And
we went over it briefly in one of our recent episodes in terms of the mods.
We did indeed. Now, Stalker 2 is on the horizon. It is literally within grasp at this point. And I am...
He's reaching out as much as he can.
I really am.
Trying to get it.
for starters, like, price-wise, I can cope with that. I don't like this thing, because this has become more and more a thing lately. Shush you. But this has become more and more a bigger thing lately. I fucking think it was Ubisoft and EA that started this bollocks. But yeah, they've got fucking Ultimate Editions. I'm like, whatever. The game looks fucking great, from what I can see. We've actually started to see gameplay release. But that wasn't what hit me primarily. They've been announcing little bits of information here and there. GSC Game World confirms that Stalker 2 mod tools will allow for big modifications like turtle conversions. To give context, this is what people have been doing since they made their own mod tools for the original Stalker franchise. So basically, they're giving us the tools now to be able to complete that with a lot more ease. So we should see things like Stalker Anomaly in Stalker 2 relatively quickly. It could literally take a couple months at most. Someone else posted this, which is just showing the atmosphere, which I think, to be honest, they've built quite well.
It's honestly, it looks like a different game.
It does, doesn't it? I would easily say it was like a Tarkov or something like that. With the atmosphere they've built, it's shocking. Just put it lightly. I was reposting about items, but we don't talk about that. Well, I do need to mention this though. Meanwhile, on the Escape Factory forums, every topic has been moved, then logged. Welcome to Fntastic HQ's idea of transparency and honesty.
Rory, there's another bad thing about streaming.
What?
The community manager can now see you live when we go on tangents.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
We're just gonna hear a loud banging on Rory's door in the background, and then Rory's gonna suddenly vanish, and I'm gonna have to finish the episode.
I don't know how you'll end the episode. It's all on my side.
I'll just wait for your power to go out or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
you'll probably not return.
Something like that. Yeah, you have been banned from Escape Factory Hub until 31st October. At that time, you were banned by a Escape Factory developer. Everything has just been removed. But I'll tell you what, I did something. This pretty much just saying the same thing, but this is saying that Stalker 2 will have mod support on Xbox console as well. So it's not just going to be PC, which I think is a fucking amazing idea.
Let's be honest, PC's going to have a lot more.
Oh, yeah. But the fact that they're going to even be able to have basic mods added to it reminds me very much of the Skyrim and Fallout situation, which I think is great.
Yeah, it's good for console. It's useless for PC.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's good to see that the console players that are playing them more casually than PC are still going to be able to get at least some mods in there, even if it's just like small things like QOL stuff. Yeah, it just can make games so much more enjoyable. Because let's be honest, it's impossible to make a perfect game.
Fucking too true.
But mods can, even if a game
it can nudge it in the right direction.
Mods can make it even better.
Oh yeah. But before I move on to this bit, which is basically just talking about the PC specs to actually run Stalker 2, I do want to just quickly jump back, because as I was saying earlier, we will talk about Fntastic briefly. As Will knows, I've spent the week in their Discord server.
Oh no.
Will knows this, because randomly one night, I sent him a video, some photos.
Oh dear. I'm not sure if this is, if we can show this.
I'm gonna avoid, showing that itself. Okay. I'm just gonna show, in general, the actual opinions of people, because I was baffled, what's going on? Now you can tell there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Probably say about 20 posts in here in the ideas. Leveling, that's just some bullshit that they do. The bit that got my interest, though, a lot of people are in here just to take the piss. Even some of the main moderators are there just trolling. I know this because they had full conversations just saying, yeah, this game's fucked.
Right then.
It's like, what? They have full fucking blowouts in the middle of sessions. It's just been a shit show. Hexagon, you're a supporter. What's the truth here? Fntastic. Oh, wait. Still waiting for you to prove me wrong. I mean, there's loads of evidence of them being scammed. Ooh, who's got scammed?
The Fntastic does, I think.
Oh. They evidently didn't have good intentions. A good intentioned studio would have done the complete opposite of what Fntastic did. They have no legitimate excuse for their actions. Unfortunately, that's incorrect. But most of the people think like you. Tell you why. This will be a laugh to read. I'm actually curious. What do you think here? Okay, then still continue to think how you're thinking, say the truth. What you said you were gonna prove him wrong. Fucking do so. Not affiliated with Fntastic in any way, but I follow the situation like anyone else. Fntastic was too kind for this world, and unfortunately, by being too kind, you can't maintain a company. A company can only exist by acting badly, and this relates to. Yeah, Valve. Yeah, you are
they
literally.
They seem to be doing all right.
Yeah.
Did we not? Was it not literally last week we covered Valve not pushing out technology because it wasn't advanced
That
enough
was
from the
last week,
previous? Yeah, because it wasn't advanced enough from the previous
Iteration.
release.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't want to release something that was essentially PS5 to PS5 Pro situation.
Yeah, exactly. Not proof that they didn't scam people. They weren't kind. If you want to know a kind dev studio, look at the chaps behind Heartbound. Yeah, that's actually quite fair. Compare them to Fntastic and see who's actually kind. Speaking of him, by the way, I saw one of his streams the other day, Pirate Software, because I do, as I said, I have a lot of respect for him and what he does. But there was something he said that actually kind of rang true. He went, if you are having a lot of pirates pirate your game, piracy is more likely to be a sales problem than it is an actual problem with pirates themselves. So there's got to be a reason behind it. For example, what they realized when they were selling Heartbound is that the game in Brazil costs about the same amount as like the average person's salary for the month.
Which
even
insane.
Though Heartbound itself is only set for £8.50. But the conversion rate and the increase due to how Steam works, it does increase that price in Brazil. Yeah. So they set a manual price in Brazil, which increased to the point now where they get more sales in Brazil than anywhere else because people can afford it. I think that's a very fair point.
Another example, by the way, is ConcernedApe.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. That man hates money.
Just quickly Googled it. Over 30 million copies have been sold, apparently.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Stardew, man. £11.
Yeah, so, well over 300 mil.
Yeah.
And the guy's still releasing, free updates for the game.
He gives zero fucks. He's like, oh, right, yeah, you guys are enjoying this. Okay, here you go. So, here's more. Now, a lot of points of view exist, and it depends what is good and bad for everybody. What? Too kind? That's not what former employees have been saying. This is one of their supporters.
Like Geralt.
I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's quite blurry. It looks like him, but then you try to focus on the face, and it just doesn't look right.
So, apparently...
Maybe it's a cosplay.
Maybe. Even a supporter is arguing against that. But that doesn't change the truth. We're talking about facts, not opinions. The truth being that Fntastic are literally scammers and continue bad business practices. I'd very much agree with that. We have covered this situation in pretty decent detail all the way through. There has not been a moment where Fntastic have gone, okay, look, we fucked up. We're sorry. The first time, the day before, what did they end up doing? They didn't give refunds by their own choice. They ran away. It was their people that they owed money to that that ended up giving refunds, which is bullshit, just straight up. After that, it was a situation of, here's a Kickstarter, we're trying to return. They ignored everybody's response, claiming it's a bad idea, leave, fuck off, go join other companies, you do fine. But no, they were adamant at returning. So, they kickstarted. Halfway through the Kickstarter, apparently, they did a poll where everyone voted. Now, as I said, I had been looking around here for the full week. And the reactions and things don't add up in the slightest. And when I click on this link here, which by the way is going to take me into my Edge, but yeah, this is where the poll already was. Yeah, close, thank you. Bye-bye. Wrong thing, there we go. All in Russian for some reason. But once the form was up and running, they then apparently received over 1,000 opinions to actually do that. Yeah, cool. I barely see 1,000 people online in this server a week. There's probably, and activity-wise, there's barely anyone. You're lucky to get 100 to 200 people. 36 and 24 at 19 and 22 at 18. Let's be honest. Those numbers do not reach anywhere near 1,000.
129, I believe.
Exactly.
So it's not very
46,
many.
22, 20, 17, 12, 17. Once again, does not reach 1,000. Same with this. And that all the way down. The numbers do not add up. The activity timeline is about the same. I would like to say I'd be able to check their accounts. But once again, offline accounts in this server do not show up. They have them hidden. Which I genuinely believe is just a way so that they can hide if they've got bots or not. Just to be brutally honest. That's my honest opinion about it anyways. And I think it makes sense. I can't see any other reason to hide people when they're offline from a Discord server. Yeah, it takes up a bit of space, but you're doing dodgy things. It doesn't add up very much. But anyhow, swiftly moving on. Let's touch on Stalker 2, shall we? Because apparently, at long last, the tech specs are out, Will.
The what?
Tech specs.
Oh, right. Yes.
So, tech specs.
What have we got?
I'll be honest, this is an easier format to read it. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl PC requirements. Minimum, Windows 10, Windows 11.
50 gig. Goddamn.
Yep, on an SSD. Which, that's becoming more
SSD
and more prevalent.
Yeah, it's pretty much mandatory these days. Like, games just, for loading times, you just want it.
Exactly.
It's not that big of an issue, but you will be sitting staring at like black screens or loading screens for longer than you want to.
Yeah, 100% on that one. RAM, 8 gig, 16 gig. That's expected. Processor. Let's look at Intel here because let's be honest. No, not a chance. Intel i5 7th generation 7600K or Intel i7 9700K. That's not too bad actually at all. GPU RX 588 gig or a 1066 gig. NVIDIA 1066 gig. For recommended, a RX 5700 XT 8 gig, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Super 8 gig, or an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 Ti 11 gig. So I've definitely got more than enough specs to run this game.
You reckon, Roy?
I reckon so. You know what? I'm actually not too upset by that.
I'd say even I could run this at recommended without any issues.
Oh, yeah. This is not going to be too difficult. Actually, if I pull up my SSD, I only need to remove a bit of space. And it's coming Game Pass day one, from what I recall.
Damn.
Which... StarCraft Remastered, November 5th. StarCraft 2 Campaign Collection, November 5th. Metal Gear Tactics, November 5th. Goat Simulator Remastered, November 7th. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, November 19th. Stalker 2, November 20th. Genshin Impact, November 20th. And Nine Souls, November 26th. So yeah, it's coming out in November, which is good. I'm quite happy about that, actually. So, you might have noticed I jumped through that a bit quickly. There is a reason. But it's mainly something that we might discuss later. It's not something I want to discuss right in this minute. So we'll work through this as we go. State of Decay 2, everything we know about the zombie game. Have you ever played State of Decay at all,
Will? I've seen little bits of it, but I don't think I've really played really at all.
There you go, by the way.
Thank you.
No problem. So, State of Decay as a zombie game is actually quite fun. It definitely has its moments. The idea that you have multiple characters and if one dies, that's it for that character is a bit insane. Proper base building's not too bad either. And co-op is pretty fun.
I actually know a few bits about it, and I now come to think of it, I'm questioning why I've not played it.
I mean, if I recall correctly, I think State of Decay 2 is still on Game Pass.
Interesting.
Because I know I played the first State of Decay and the second one. Yeah, it is. Juggernaut Edition. To be fair, they are pretty reasonable games. They're not anything, super out doing anything amazing and perfectly new. But overall, they're quite fun games. You can play with a friend for a bit and you can build up a base, fucking deal with loads of zombies, make a base out of any location you find. Go mental. I'm all for that. How big even is this game, actually? 20 gig. I can install that after this. Might do that, actually. Not played a State of Decay game in a while, so give me something to do. The first State of Decay game came out back in 2013, and the franchise is still growing following 2018 sequel State of Decay 2. A third game is now in the works for Xbox and PC. The biggest piece of news of late on State of Decay 3 is that it's ramping up production as developer Undead Labs winds down development on State of Decay 2 and shifts to the third game. Here in this post, we're rounding up everything we know about State of Decay 3. State of Decay 3 was announced back in 2020, but still does not have a release date. In fact, Undead Labs and Microsoft have not said much about the game at all. We do have a trailer. Pretty bare bones stuff, really. I hate
Trailers
that
haven't
everything's
really
added.
went well. Yeah. Trailers normally end up getting the video taken down as well.
Yeah, true. Any audio seems to take down, seems to affect our videos. I have to like fucking cut the audio out, which annoys the hell out of me.
It's quite annoying because it's a trailer.
Yeah, you know.
If anything, we're freely promoting someone's content.
Not that we've got many people to promote it to, but you know.
Yeah.
There we go. So, in-game engine footage and cinematics. Pretty much what you'd anticipate for a typical cinematic. Well, yeah. Drive across a large map, upgrade vehicles, upgrade weapons, find stuff, craft stuff, develop a hideout with NPCs. If I'm remembering right as well, you can play as any NPC you meet.
That's pretty cool.
Basically, any NPC you meet could be a bandit at first or someone like that. You take them down, but they don't end up dying. No, I don't think it is. But there's a lot to it.
Did we watch a trailer similar to this? Because, yeah, we saw the characters outside this building fighting, but that was the only really snippet there was. There was like a few of the characters that were all fighting together.
It is possible.
It's definitely familiar.
Possible. I mean, I
don't. It was only like that little snippet.
Yeah, I don't think we covered it personally, mainly for the simple fact of this is 2020, where this screenshot came from.
Okay, that's probably, yeah, we probably would have covered it then at some point, or at least I would have seen it anyway. That's that old.
But I know, like, last year was the year where we pretty much took off and started to cover live streams and stuff. Which, to be honest, that was a lot of fun, and I'd be quite happy to do that again later this year. Well, later next year, technically, it'd be, when the next big ones start off. Because we both had a pretty good time with that. We streamed the whole process and then discussed them on a later date. But fair play to experts, because they did well last year. Yeah.
I mean, they're going on for doing well again, man. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
the way they're going about things these days is just better than basically the way other people are doing it. Wow, this is unfortunate.
Ain't it just? I tell you sometimes.
No touch.
Yeah, don't worry about that. It's just all going to be a straight line, is it?
Love to make things awkward, don't they?
Yep. No? Don't like that? Okay. Seems like they've got a picture for a fucking background. Which explains a lot, but still makes it fucking horrific.
Yep.
Anyways. Just cover this. I don't know if you've heard, but Dragon Age the Veilguard has released. We covered the game briefly when it was on the Xbox Showcase. So if I actually just pull this up. Dragon Age the Veilguard. So you can see general opinions. It's not doing bad. It's not doing amazing. It's pretty much just on the mostly positive line. Some people really enjoy it. Some people really don't.
I mean, that's the case with a lot of games.
Oh, yeah.
You can't like everything. You like it or you don't.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are probably very much under the same idea I would be if I was to play it. I adored the original Dragon Age Origins.
I've not played the game, so I don't really know anything of them.
Absolutely beloved. the first one, but as someone's put here, if you are an original Dragon Age fan, this game was not made for you, but for your kids. That's the bit where it kind of hurts a bit, because it's like, ouch.
How long it's been.
Yeah, it's one of them things. A lot of people are saying things like this as well. Good game, but it's a poor Dragon Age game. So anything I say, you need to take. There is possibly some bias to it. Obviously, I'm not going to be the happiest chap when it comes to this thing. I really adored Dragon Age, and if they've made a poor Dragon Age game, but a relatively okay game as it is, fair enough. But I don't think I could separate the two personally. Speaking of, let's cover it.
No. Now remember what they said, Roy. It's not really meant for you. You've grown up too much.
I don't have kids though. It's not like I can just fucking throw it at someone and just go, complete this for me, I want to watch.
Cal.
Yeah, I can send it to Cal. That's fair.
He's a big kid.
He is, yeah. That works. Dragon Age the Veilguard doesn't care what choices you made in the previous Dragon Age games, and that sucks. That is true. That really upsets me, actually. If you've played all three previous Dragon Age games, how many choices do you think you've made across the series as a whole? Hundreds? Thousands? Certainly enough for it to be a little disappointing that the new entry, the Veilguard, doesn't really care about any of them. That's a little unfair, but it's not far away from the truth. The Veilguard lets you customize your world state during character creation, but it only relates to the events of Dragon Age Inquisition, and even then they're disappointingly few and vague. Beyond details of your Inquisitor, their name, race, and appearance, though it doesn't care about your class, your past adventures are all boiled down to 3 questions. The first asks who your Inquisitor romanced. The second, whether the Inquisition was disbanded completely or absorbed into the Chantry. Not one of the game's most interesting decision points. And it happened in a DLC rather than the main game. The third, also relating to a DLC, asked whether your Inquisitor vowed to stop Solus or vowed to save Solus from himself. An interesting nuance, perhaps, but pretty fuzzy one, and given your Inquisitor isn't even the character dealing with Solus in the Veilguard, it hardly feels like one of the top 3 most important choices from an entire series. Yeah, I agree with that. I played the first and second one to death, and all I gotta say, considering this was the game I played when I was younger, where when I got close to the end, I had to convince my best friend to sleep with my other friend, who was a witch, so she could get pregnant with the heir of the kingdom and turn it into some witchy prototype thing. I have no idea what the hell she was planning to do with it.
That's a lot to take in.
Yeah. So just take into consideration, that's the sort of choices I had to make. And then these are the choices they're talking about now. What one of these seemed like a severe downgrade. Though I've not yet finished the Veilguard, from what I've seen so far, the impact of these world state choices seem minimal, and frankly more of an attempt to placate long-time fans as simply as possible, rather than a way of building on what came before. Your Inquisitor shows up as a character, but they feel like a glorified cameo, and the game is quick to come up with a reason why they then have to disappear out of sight rather than help you in your quest. And that's it. All those choices made across 3 games, who lived and who died, how factions were shaped and changed, and who rose to ruleship, or fell from grace. The ultimate fate of the Warden, Hawk, and countless others are simply discarded. It makes me miserable because I fucking adored playing as the Grey Wardens. They're amazing. It's a stark contrast to the save imports and manual tools that previous games in the series and Mass Effect 2 and 3 featured to allow you to bring in the most or even all of your decisions, big and small, in a game that already feels disconnected from its predecessors, tonally and mechanically. It's a disheartening wipe clean of the slate. It makes me so fucking sad to see this. Also, I do not agree with this bit. I do understand that it's not a simple issue. Well, that's not very true, is it? Considering they did it for Mass Effect, and they did it for the other Dragon Age games, I'm pretty certain it was not a difficult issue for them to think of. Go, oh yeah, actually, might be good for us to look into this problem. Can you tell I'm a little bit upset by this?
The only answer I can give you is topics we've discussed before about a continuation of a game. A lot of the time, the next game they make pretty much ruins the first game because the next game is just awful, simply put.
Yeah,
So
I can believe that.
the way I'm gonna look at this, which you're not gonna like at all, is
Oh no.
they didn't think they could improve on the previous game, so instead of ruining its image and ruining that game for everyone who played it, they said, let's leave it on its pedestal and we'll just make something new that doesn't follow the first game so as to not risk destroying that title.
Do you know what hurts even more? You're actually right.
But if you think about it, how many games have we lost because they made a new one that's meant to be a sequel or a continuation or whatever you want to call it, and it's just awful.
Spot on the money.
They just couldn't keep the storyline to itself. Like it just went so off the path of the previous game. There were so many unanswered questions or whatever the reasons.
Oh yeah.
So would you rather? It's really like worst case scenario. Would you rather the one that you loved be destroyed because the new one that's meant to continue is awful, or keep the one that you love and unfortunately not get to continue the line but still get a new game?
Yeah.
That for all you know could actually be enjoyable. Maybe not as much as the previous, maybe in a different way, but at the end of the day you still have the good memories and the thoughts of the first game doing as well as it did and not being destroyed
I
by
mean,
them
you'd hope
trying
so.
to improve. That is the hope, yes.
Yeah, you would hope so. You can never be certain, but you would hope.
But you would prefer that than 2 games being destroyed, the old that you loved and the new that is not to be loved at all.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I think it just, you know how it is, mate. It's
Yeah.
one of them where it's.
Don't get me wrong. I had a perfect example for me would be Deus Ex. If they made a new game that was just awful, like say the original devs weren't
Yeah.
able to continue it, which at the minute is currently happening, and they sold the license to a new team, and that team tried to make a new sequel, and it just destroyed the entire game, it would be devastating.
Yeah, 100% it would. I would genuinely be quite upset by that.
Yeah, there's ways you have to look at things like this, and it sucks because you just want to play more of it. Which is why I'm very upset that at the moment the next Deus Ex has been cancelled because of just the state of the gaming developers' situations that we've covered over the last year and a half, and just how awful it's been for them.
I fully agree on that one. It's horrifically sad, to be honest with you.
I think it's a good way to look at it. You know, you still have the first game,
Yeah,
You know, you have
still got
fond
the
memories
first and
of it.
second.
Yeah, you fond memories of them, and they're not going to be ruined by them trying to make another game for it, which ends up massively underperforming and sort of ruining the entire series of games.
That's the thing. I think nowadays, in particular, I do have to agree with you that as we've gone on in gaming and everything, in the past couple of years, it's become much more prevalent that you need to separate the old and the new.
Yeah. And
Because at
also,
any
you got
given
to
time,
remember, Rory,
Hmm?
you're getting older, my friend. You're no longer the target audience.
uh, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
realistically, you'd think, a vulgar, fucking bloodthirsty game, I would be the fucking target audience, but no. No. No.
I
If you
mean,
look at
at the end
Call
of
of
the day,
Duty, for example, the target audience is 5.
yeah. At the end of the day, everyone is still part of some audience that's like, there's games being made for that specific audience.
Oh, yeah.
And you're definitely, you can be in multiple of those. Like, as much as I love my FPS games, I also love RTS. I love puzzles. Like, there's a wide variety of games I enjoy playing that are completely different from one another.
Oh, yeah.
But there will be games made that you just don't appeal to you.
Oh, 100%.
It's just how it is. You know, you can't enjoy everything. You can't like everything. There's
No,
things you don't like, and there's things you do like.
exactly. I mean, to be fair, since we started this, we have tried taking pretty much whether we like a game or not and judging it more on its mechanical basis, how it
I mean,
works as a game itself.
there's some games that I absolutely hate, but at the end of the day, if they've done things well, the game runs smoothly. It's got a good storyline. The game itself has high review rates. You know, you
Yeah.
can't really argue with results. Just because you
No,
don't like it
exactly.
doesn't mean it's a bad game.
Exactly that. And we have tried that. There was one example where I did end up completely agreeing with the masses because I couldn't find any positivity in 2 of the games. One of those games I can no longer mention. The other game I
Okay,
can still
results was
mention.
everything for that.
Yeah. The other game I can mention, Skull and Bones.
For now.
Skull and Bones was quite the disgrace to Ubisoft. But once again, Ubisoft has been going downhill for a very long time now.
Oh,
And what concerns me about
£65.
is that how much it is?
Oh, 63% positive. Hey. Oh no, not that one. Not that one. That one's £50 for standard.
Yes, I couldn't see this.
No. The other one that you're not like that. No. Roy,
I'm
you're
not allowed to
breaking.
mention
You're
it.
you're breaking T's and C's.
I'm actually just checking the percentage. That's increased much more compared to what I thought, but I suppose if people got it on sale, fair play. At that point, they're going to be able to. Still, buy this if you want to lose some brain cells, if you're having trouble sleeping, or if you hate yourself. Yeah, I hit all those criteria, mate. I hit all those criteria.
We'll be taking you to court after this, by the way, Roy.
Oh, okay. What for again?
T's and C's.
T's and C's. I see.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bioware has no DLC plans for Dragon Age Veilguard, and it has shifted focus onto Mass Effect. Right. EA Bioware. I need you guys to understand something. As much as I'm trying my best not to give you shit for Dragon Age the Veilguard, the last Mass Effect game you made was Mass Effect Andromeda. Now, I don't need to say much to say how hated this game is.
£7.
Yeah. I'm actually shocked that it's at 75% because most of the hardcore, like, Mass Effect crew despise it. As you can kind of see down there.
97.4 hours was that for that flipping review?
Yeah.
97.4. Jesus.
Bad story. Pretty much, for those who don't know, Mass Effect itself, the first 3 games are all about Commander Shepard. who you play as, and you will make your way through. And at the end of that, obviously, there's a big situation where Commander Shepard couldn't really return, or at least that's how it looks. Mass Effect Andromeda is supposed to continue the continue the universe, but it was very much a case of, okay, cool, that it. But there really wasn't much to it. The actual gameplay I enjoyed. It was the story that really bored the shit out of me and prevented me from playing any further.
Yeah, the small glimpses I caught from the reviews, that seemed to be the majority of complaints.
Yeah, it really was a bad story. As I said here, he's giving it pretty reasonable, saying after all the patching, it's significantly better. The story is nothing to write home about. Not good, not bad, just enough to keep you entertained. It wasn't even that at times. It was just you sat there pretty quietly and bored. But the gameplay and characters are a lot of fun. Combat especially, it was so-so.
This is crazy. The main reviews on this game's page are all like high hours. A lot of the time when we're reviewing stuff like this, you definitely have some of them that have just stupid hours. But typically, like, they're less than double digits. But like most people here just have literally hundreds of hours or like a very high amount.
This is kind of why I like this sort of group, because before coming and like giving a full judgment, a lot of
they don't
them
just
are
play
going
30
to
minutes and then complain because they had one bug. They actually put time into the game and give like a chance to it.
Exactly.
Like people should do instead of just complaining.
Spot on the money, my friend. I think I put a good 30 hours into the game. And at that point, I just stopped and was like, I can't really bring myself to finish it. I was upset about it, but, you know, I'd literally come off the back of completing 1, 2, and 3 within the week.
Yeah, I vaguely remember you used to talk very highly of Mass Effect way back when.
Yeah, I did. I really do enjoy 1, 2, and 3 still. Don't get me wrong, 3's ending was fucking piss poor, but overall, I still enjoyed it. It was one of the first games to ever make me actually shed a tear for a character. Fucking Morden. Dreadful bloke.
Not sure if I've ever had that experience.
He was a cunt.
I was definitely sad about Benor when I first played Skyrim way back when.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was not an essential NPC and I didn't know he could die. I was fighting and like realized my follower wasn't with me. I was looking around on the floor, found his corpse. I was like, I think I immediately scrapped like 2 hours of progress and reloaded to where he was alive.
Yeah, I suppose with PC you can just click in with the console window and type resurrect one.
I would be on PS3 at the time.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's when I first started Skyrim. The good old Augment Fidium glitch to get the level 81 immediately. The old way. Times, man. Oh yes, the very old way.
So, here we go. The reason I brought all that up, because I'm sure it'll feel a bit unnecessary information. They've now put themselves into a situation where they have Dragon Age the Veilguard that wasn't received very well. Mass Effect Andromeda that wasn't received very well. Both fourth games. The next Mass Effect game is going to be the one that pretty much dictates their future, I think.
See, this brings me back to my point of continuing a game isn't necessarily the best path. Yeah.
Look at Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft.
Oh, dear God. That's right, that game's going to get cancelled, man. Like,
I mean, we've not heard anything else, have we? Oh, just now. Assassin's Creed Shadows delay necessary to change narrative of Ubisoft's inconsistency in quality. We only have one shot. Ooh, that's dangerous.
Well, we all know what route that's going to go down.
That is so dangerous. The move means Shadows will miss Assassin's Creed's typical pre-Christmas sale window and comes amidst much scrutiny of publishers Ubisoft's ongoing fortunes, as well as a culture war that has erupted over Shadows. Speaking of BAFTA event attended by Eurogamer in London last night, Cole reflected on reasons for delay and the crucial importance of the game to Ubisoft at such a pivotal moment for the company and Assassin's Creed brand. Players can afford to be selective, choosing only the best, and they rightfully demand excellence. Ubisoft's portfolio has faced criticism in recent years for a perceived inconsistency in quality. Players expect more polish, more innovation, and deeper engagement.
That is Polish, by the way.
I can see why. I almost said that. More polish, more innovation, and deeper engagement from the games we release, and they're not shy about letting us know how they feel when we've fallen short. This environment pushes us to do better. Assassin's Creed Shadows represents our opportunity to change the narrative, not just for Assassin's Creed, but for Ubisoft as a whole. If you can do it, you'll bat it out the park. If you
let's
can't,
be honest, with the current situation of Ubisoft, they are probably making a good decision delaying the game if they feel it's not up to par.
yeah,
Because this is going to be their make or break moment. There has been so much downfall for them. Like, they are lower than down in the dumps. They're close to 6 feet under
oh
in
definitely.
terms of their company. So if this game releases and it's a shoddy mess, what is there to be said? There will only be one thing that will come of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. At the
There's
moment,
a-
I'm sort of in the
There's a nice
mindset.
image for you that I've sent you.
Oh. Ubisoft, name a game you're proud to have 100% completed. Hey, Ubi, why don't you name a game you have completed 100% before releasing it? Yeah.
That's the situation they're in.
This is the thing. I think if they can pull it off, it could do some good. But for how long?
In the state of their company, it's not if, it's they need to. If
Yeah.
they don't,
They're done
it's
for.
not good.
No. That's the thing. They are pretty much done for.
The only thing that will save them if the game is not like at minimum standards is just the fact that it's the title of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. As I said, I'm not certain that they can make it.
Well, it's already off to a bad start because the private beta that you get access to for purchasing
the
certain
early
editions,
access.
yeah, words aren't with me right now, but
That's fair.
that early access that you normally
got
get for
cancelled.
pretty much any like big game now.
Oh yeah.
Canceling that's a bit of a shocker there. Like, that's unexpected.
But it's a worry in itself.
Yeah.
So yeah. Then moving away from that topic and moving back here a second. EA and Ubisoft are pretty much in the same ballpark. Bioware in particular under EA are the ones that I'm worried about. And Bioware are the ones that make Dragon Age and they make Mass Effect. So I think now it's going to be very much a case of we sit, we wait, we see. If anything comes of it, happy days. If it doesn't,
Yeah, all we can do now is
That's
just
the
wait
end
for
of
the
it.
game to come out.
yeah.
Well, wait for the game to come out or wait for to see that the game's been cancelled and Ubisoft's shutting down.
Well, EA in this instance.
Well, yeah, I mean, at this rate, we're going to see big, massive companies just falling off the face of the earth, dude.
It seems like it's going that way, yeah. So I just wanted to mention this quickly before I end the episode here. No More Room in Hell 2. It's released in early access. 43% positive.
Oof.
At
That's
a
not
cost
great.
of £25. It's online co-op, cross-platform multiplayer. You cannot play this game single player. I feel like that was already known. You can't know.
That's a bit shit.
It's literally meant for multiple players.
I guess, yeah. But still, like, people aren't always available.
Oh no. Let's see. So these are all positive. Regardless of all the issues, bugs, glitches, poor optimization, crashing audio, cutting out, the game is unlike any zombie game I've ever played. I believe this game is already on the right path to becoming a great game. You may ask, what makes it so good? First of all, the game really simulates cooperation well between the different players, which is something that I see is executed poorly. The melee system is a bit wonky at the moment, but very dynamic. The zombies and the atmosphere in general is very creepy and cinematic. It feels like you're watching a film when you're playing. The permadeath feature makes sure people are careful, which adds to the cinematic realism of the game, and it's very satisfying to kill zombies. Very crunchy. But the zombies are also still dangerous, which makes you think more about strategically about which zombies you want to kill, so on and so forth. Typical shit. So what's wrong with the game? Well, let's have a look here. Jesus Christ, these are some very long reviews. Okay. If you want to play a game that's fundamentally broken at its core, with barely anything interesting there, then this is the game for you. Most of the reviews recommending the game are doing so because people are desperate. The devs are going to fix what we have been given. Okay. Why am I talking in such a way? This game could have been a masterpiece down the road, but right now the devs don't seem to have any idea what the actual game is supposed to be. They've even alluded as much by saying they need to figure out where the core game is going to be about. The game is glitchy, poor optimized, hit registration will decide to stop working, and you'll die if the game decides that one of the zombies is desynced from what you see, and your entire team gets murdered by said zombie, which cannot be killed. Even if the game
is a bit annoying.
Yeah. Even if the game functioned perfectly, there's no depth. You basically walk from the edge of the map to the center of the game, completing very generic missions against very generic zombies with really bad melee combat and gunplay that feels like it's ripped out of a bargain bin game from 2010. I'm ragging on this game hard because this doesn't feel like early access. This feels like a hastily slapped together pitch for a game that is a hint of a shadow of what it might one day be. But they're charging $30 for it and asking you to trust that they'll eventually deliver something with no clear vision of what they want their game to be. That makes it all the more worrying. Early access should not be about throwing out a barely playable mess and getting around to making the game later on. If they're going to charge money, the bones of the actual game should really be there and not a chore to engage with. I actually fully agree with that sentiment. I think the early access market really has started to get filled up with games like that. I'm shocked, though, that No More Room in Hell 2 has to be the one that does that. Because No More Room in Hell 1, a free-to-play game, by the way, sits at an 89% positive out of 72,556 fucking reviews. And this was a mod for Half-Life 2. And it works very well. The only negative review. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, wait. You can't just let your friends join. You have to do stuff that is really hard. Just make it so I can invite them. I don't think you're very smart. It's not very difficult. I remember running many games in this over the years. But yeah, I think that is our first live episode complete, Will. Unless there's anything you'd like to add.
Nothing I can think of. It's been a good time.
Yeah.
I feel like you didn't go too crazy.
I could have gone a lot worse, let's be honest. And next week, when I'm feeling more myself, who knows? That could happen. Well, it won't be the first time. Definitely won't be the last either. But yeah, it's been nice, as I said. I have enjoyed it. It's been quiet. That's what I like. I like easy days where we can just have a laugh and handle stuff and, you know, just discuss random bullshit. Sounds about right. So anyways, with all that said and done, thank you to all of you, to anyone who has popped in live and actually, like, spend time watching. We really do appreciate it. In the future, who knows, we might have more people. I do see we did get a follower through this.
Damn.
I'm not sure if that was a bot account. But I will discuss that with you after this. Because I've got a few other things actually to discuss with you after this. And we'll discuss those shortly. But yeah, thank you all for watching. And we will see you all in the next episode. Catch you all later, guys.